Hello everyone and welcome along to my channel. My name's Suzanne and I garden and grow cut flowers in Devon in the UK. This week's video is a video, somebody asked me a question of sort of have I done a video of how I started doing this, and I did do a video that touched on it, which I will link in the description, and that's quite a good video if you want to see pictures of, you know, my cottage garden as a blank canvas and the cutting patch right at the beginning. That's quite a good video to watch. But I watched it back the other day, and there is one painful bit in it where I film a goat for quite a long time. If you like goats, it's great. If you like flowers, just hold on in there. I do get back to talking about the garden. But it was right at the beginning of my sort of YouTube channel journey. So some of the, well, I mean, I still make mistakes with filming now. This is not my forte. But I'm talking to you because hopefully if you're watching my channel, you like gardening, you like growing cut flowers, and you're finding it interesting. If not, change channel. So anyway, this week's video is more looking at that in a bit more detail as to how, from someone who was a gardener, because I was a gardener, did I want to become somebody who actually used my, I don't know, I'm not artistic, but for some reason I love to be creative with flowers. So we're just really talking about how I came from being a gardener to, I mean, because this, I love it. I love it so much. I hope that comes across in my videos, how much I love it. So anyway, if you're interested in how I got to where I am and where I am, where am I? Am I a flower farmer? Am I, what am I? What do I do? Stay tuned. So I was thinking the other day, and lots of you are probably in the same boat, you know, what do you call yourself if you arrange and sell flowers? And if you grow them yourself, are you a flower farmer? Are you a florist? Are you a floral designer? What are you? And it got me questioning, what am I? What am I? I don't call myself a flower farmer because I suppose it's the same with, think of a normal farm. Let's say an agricultural stock farm, because that's what I grew up on. So let's say you've got sheep and cattle and things like that. And then you also have small holdings, which people generally keep, you know, one breed of nice sheep. But they're still a farm, but they're smaller scale. So suppose I consider myself a flower small holding, not a flower farm. I think a flower farm, it's your business, I suppose. If you're a farmer, you're a farmer, it's your business. So I that's why I don't call myself a flower farmer, because it's not my business. However, I do all the same sorts of things as a flower farmer, but on a small scale. So I'm a flower smallholder. So I still have to sow seeds, plant bulbs, deadhead, although if I was a flower farmer I might not even need to do that because I might be selling so many flowers that they wouldn't need deadheading. I still need to mulch my soil. I need to prune the shrubs, you know, prune the roses, feed the plants. I still do all of those things, but for love and not money, basically. I do sell flowers, but I want to be realistic with you about the number of flowers I sell. There's no way I could give up my job for the amount of flowers I sell, okay? Especially because I don't have a polytunnel, so I have a season April to October. But if you love gardening and growing flowers like me, there's not a bad thing to do. It's not about money. It's about, in a minute, me being able to create something beautiful with these flowers. And it's not for anybody. Although I've been using this summer to try and create sort of a portfolio, because, you know, it would be great if I could make a bit more money from this, because then I could maybe do a bit less of my other job. You know, I could have that balance of doing something you really enjoy. So that's why I ended up getting a piece of wire and wiring the head back onto this dahlia, because I just want a portfolio of my style of flowers. Now, am I a florist? No, I am not a florist. I think I use flowers as my form of creativity. So I'm not very good at music, I'm not very good at singing, I'm not very good at drawing, I'm not very good at painting, but I love having a creative outlet. My sister, for example, I've mentioned before, she made my apron. She makes these absolutely incredible little memory bears. They're beautiful, and they're such a lovely thing because she makes so that it's memories of people, not necessarily all of past, but you know, these are presents for grandchildren and things, and they're bears made of their grandparents' clothing. But again, it's her artistic release, if you like, and my artistic release is to think of colour combinations I like to put together, and I love doing it. And if I can make that pay for itself, then that's what I want to do. So I'm doing a portfolio. So this is just going to be photographed, so that if people do inquire about flowers, I can say, oh yeah, well this is my style, this is what I can do, these are the types of things I grow. So that's on a rainy day what I do. So I don't call myself a florist because although I have done some floristry courses, the main course I did was the business module. So that's all the paperwork and your accounts and all that sort of stuff. I have done some practical floristry courses, but not proper floristry modules over a period of time, just really, really short courses. So I call myself, it sounds much better than it is, by the way, a floral designer, because that's more like, or an artisan florist. So I don't necessarily conform to all of the principles that a florist learn, although I do appreciate a lot of principles of design, and I have a lot of books, and I appreciate those and take those into consideration with my work, just like any florist would. But all of my retail bouquets and bunches that I sell are unique and individual. I might cut nearly the same flowers, but I don't go for that formal, 3 of this, 5 of that. I mean, I do sometimes, but I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't repeat that 10 times over for 10 bouquets. So I wouldn't, if someone ordered 10 bouquets from me, there's no way all 10 of them would look the same. So anyway, I was just taking a minute to sort of explain. This is for new people. This is for, and people who perhaps who have been with me a long time but haven't perhaps caught my journey. So I'm going to stop and start again because I need to look at some dates a minute before I carry on. Okay, right, so that's a bit about sort of the floristry, but how did I get from being a keen gardener to being someone who wanted flowers in the house? So, I mean, I, like everybody, lived in my flat from, how old was I, 21, maybe 21, and I don't think I ever put any flowers in my house in a vase or anything when I lived there. But the thing you would find in my house then is on every windowsill you would find seedlings. So I was always keen on growing from seed. I wasn't really a go to the garden centre and buy the plant. And I only had a really tiny patio garden, so I suppose I never really thought about cutting flowers from that and taking them in. When we moved here, which was in, I'm not very good with dates, we've been here a while now. I think we moved here in 2016, I would say. And when we moved here again, I wouldn't have instantly thought about taking any flowers into the house because there wasn't a garden here. I've shown in a previous video, which I may link in, and there are lots of photos of my non-garden. So there was this rose, and one other rose and a few fuchsias, but there were no beds, there was no garden, no planting, no nothing like that. So again, I still didn't have that thought of cutting flowers and taking them in the house because there weren't any flowers, but I was the keen grower and I knew I wanted to make my garden really nice. So I spent the first 2 years, you know, getting my garden nice, and really enjoying the garden. And then I did get my garden really nice, and because I then was starting to feel a bit like I'd made a home, I was like, oh, I could put some flowers in the house. And one spring, really early, well, not really early, it must have been May time because there were bluebells, let's say end of April, the cow parsley, bluebells. I'm going to put the picture in. I was inspired one beautiful, glorious day that I would like a jug of flowers in my house. It was just a beautiful day and I thought, oh, I'll put a jug of flowers in my house. I didn't know anything about flowers then, didn't know what time of day to cut them, how to cut them, anything about conditioning or anything. I just thought I'd put this jug of flowers in the house, find the picture, put it in here. And then my garden started to sort of come a bit to life thereafter, because we get into early summer, late spring, and I something about that jug of flowers just got me, and I started cutting flowers from my garden. And then I caught some sort of bug with it. I don't know, but I was on social media then. I had to learn all about cutting flowers. So in 2019, it must have been the year before that I'd been playing around in my garden, I decided that my garden was definitely not big enough for this new cut flower enterprise. So I decided my partner had to build me this raised bed for cut flowers. I never put cut flowers in it because I watched so many YouTube videos that I decided that I deemed it completely not the right size because I had these big ideas in my head. So I then decided I would grow vegetables in that raised bed and that I now needed a whole designated area for growing cut flowers. So by this time we'd acquired a bit of extra land so I could make this cut flower garden. And you've all sort of seen the story from that. That then wasn't big enough. And so this is the first year where I've now made it bigger and extended. And I'm afraid the cottage garden has suffered for that because I've spent all my time in there producing these cut flowers. But it's just something that makes me so happy, and I'm just away in my own little world out there, and I absolutely love the world of growing cut flowers. When I first, the first season I could grow in there, so I started building that in 2019, but didn't produce any flowers in it until 2020. I was still cutting from my cottage garden then. So in 2020, I'd grown all these cut flowers, and I had no way of selling them. I didn't even know why I was growing them. I was growing them because I like to arrange them, but I had big dreams. So I decided, the whole COVID thing happened, didn't it? And although I was still working, I wasn't working so much. So there was a little village market, and I messaged them and said, "Oh, can I come to the market with some flowers?" And I did, and honestly, it's embarrassing to think what flowers I was selling people at this market. I mean, they were still nice because they were no preservatives, no chemicals. They were grown at home and not flown, and there was still lots of nice. It was still all environmentally friendly and lovely. But the quality of I'd put any old colours together and any old types of flowers together, and it was the actual floral design bit that I needed a lot more work on. The growing, because I've been a keen gardener, it wasn't a problem. Yeah, I can grow that, not a problem at all. And so that's all stuff I've learned as I've gone along, and doing some courses did help for that. I asked for my birthday for some courses as a gift, and it was lovely, it was brilliant. So anyway, somebody had asked in the comments sort of how I got to where I am now, and that's just a really brief one there. So anyway, now selling my flowers, I would not do a market now. I would not do a market because, well, the only way I would do a market is if I didn't spend the night before making loads of bunches of flowers to take to the market, sit there and not sell, because time is precious. If I were doing a market now, I would take buckets of flowers like this and I would make the bunches while I was at the market each time one sold. That is what I would do. But the reason I don't go to a market now is because I make everything to order. So I have a website and people can order and pay for flowers on the website, and I ask for more than 24 hours notice so that I've got time to cut and condition the flowers and arrange them, but basically I'm only ever making a bunch of flowers that is sold unless I'm doing something for a portfolio, which is what this will be. So that gives you an idea. So yeah, I only build it if I've sold it, and I grew an awful lot this year for my friend's wedding. So last year I knew about that, and a lot of the flowers I'd grown before that. I don't think I would have been able to do her wedding if I hadn't have extended my area. I would have had to have brought some flowers in, so it was really nice to have extended my area so that I could then produce all the flowers for that from my own garden, which is great. I think the photos are back from the photographer actually. I haven't seen them yet, but I'm hoping to give you the professional photographs of that wedding soon. And again, like I say, there's definitely a video coming up about what I'm ditching next year and things I'd like to try. There's quite a few things I'd like to try. We're definitely moving forward, going to be very slowly over the next few years changing the cottage garden quite a lot. But that's sort of where I am in this video, is just an idea of how did I get where I am. So that might be a story that's very familiar to a lot of you. But if I weren't selling flowers, I would not need my patch to be that big. And to be fair, I probably don't need, if it wasn't for the wedding, I probably wouldn't need it to be that big anyway. But I find it really difficult to not buy a million packets of seed. And again, I'm sure you're the same. So anyway, thank you so much for watching this week's video. If you've got videos you would like to do, let me know in the messages. And if I had enough people ask enough questions about things, I could do a sort of question and answer thing, but I wouldn't do it live because I'm not sure I've got the technical ability to do that. That might be something in the future. But yeah, if I had enough questions for me to make a 10 or 15 minute video, then I'd do that. If I didn't have enough questions for that, I would still try and answer your questions, whatever they may be. Any ideas for any videos? Like I said, I've got a few ideas. Definitely the tours, because with July it's going to be, we will not have had a July tour because it is it August today or tomorrow? I don't even know. It's nearly August. So an August tour coming up. We definitely need to talk about some seed sowing, some what I'm growing and what I'm not going to grow, and various other things. So anyway, thanks very much for watching, and hopefully next week you may even get 2 videos. It could be the professional photographs and maybe a recap on the wedding and what I do differently, those things, or it could be a tour, or it could be putting on these poor cuttings here. And I've also got cuttings in the propagator there, but I have turned it off because I thought the rain and that going might be a little bit too much. Okay, I'm rambling now. This is just basically, when I do the intro for this, I should just say this is just 20 minutes of me rambling. Hope you enjoyed it. Thanks a lot. Bye.